technically.
We'll be all good though. Are you all good?
Yep, I'm good. I'm just making sure my Wi-Fi is good. The connection's messed up. I think it was me or something else, but I'm good.
Easy. Easy. Man. That boy. Did y'all see what Luca did, bro? Selling that
Against the
sports
Nets.
card. Selling that. He sold a sports card for 4.6 million.
Yeah, they said
His rookie card.
I don't
That's why I
understand
put that.
what's happened with the collectible market, but it's blown up over the past I guess really past month, but I don't really understand what's going on with the whole market.
That's why that last topic I put that NBA Top Shot in because that's their platform.
I don't understand that either. So people are purchasing moments that I can also go to YouTube and purchase for free. I mean, not purchase, but I can go watch.
Yeah, what's up with that Top Shot shit? I will not even.
Yeah, I don't really understand the business model. So they're buying a moment, but I can also still go to YouTube or any other public forum
stream it.
Also,
Instagram.
Yeah, and also look at that moment. They're not the only people with the rights to that moment, correct?
I think they end up being the only people with the rights because it's the NBA selling them that clip. You feel me?
All right, here we go, fellas. We live, about to start the countdown.
Like NBA and NBA. We're going to talk about it a little bit because I really don't know too much about it either, but I just want to get our thoughts on it. What we know so far. Yo, what's going on, Spurs family, man? And we back at it again with another episode of Micah and Friends, man. We got the family back in the building again on a good Wednesday. You know, we gonna give it to y'all funky today. We got my boy Nate checking in from the West Coast, aka the Best Coast. You feel me?
Best Coast.
What's going on with it, family?
Man, nothing much. Blessed to be back here at it. Got some good topics. All-Star break coming up, so let's get it.
A lot of snubs out there. Jay Cott, man. We got my brother checking in all the way from Maryland, man. What's going on with it?
What's up, family, man? Everything good this way, man? How y'all doing? Happy to be back.
Cool. Yes, Sirski. Then we got my good Morehouse brethren. My boy Amir checking in all the way from NY. What's going on with it, brother?
Hey, just try to stay out the way, stay COVID free. I'm glad everybody's doing well.
Man. Y'all about to be open, ain't nah? That's textbook. and why come open? You know it's a problem for real. But let's get into these topics, man. I want to start it off hot off the break just because it's All-Star week. So I need to hear about the All-Star snubs. And this topic is being sponsored by Quanu Hydrate. So make sure y'all go over there, check them out. Go over there, check them out, put your order in, tell Dave we said what up. And man, go order you some water, man. You feel me? But let's go ahead and get it rolling. Let's get into these All-Star snubs. I'm gonna start it off with Cott, man. I need to hear who you think got snubbed from this All-Star game.
Man, it's surprising. It's gonna be surprising to Nate, but I'm actually gonna go with DeRozan. I think DeRozan, he's been balling out San Antonio. It's actually a stat that they're the only team above 500 without an All-Star. So I mean, he been playing very well. So I was a little surprised about that. I mean, well, not surprised because we all know it's all the popularity thing at the end.
It's tough. It's tough out there too.
It's
a lot of talent.
I mean, it is a lot of talent. I mean, I feel like Zion Williamson is definitely, second year in the league. I mean, not saying he's not deserving of it, but Rose is a vet, and I mean Zion, his numbers. I mean, we all want to see Zion Williamson in the All-Star game, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I said DeRozan, and let me think. I really like the lineup they got. In all honesty, I feel like I'm not upset with it. I would have liked Sabonis Sabonis' game is growing on me. I know he was a reserve, but I mean, I still feel like who other guys y'all that were on the bubble about the All-Star game in the East?
Trae Young was one of the names that was floating around. I wouldn't have given him the nod either. Honestly, I don't think. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, bro, I don't think there's really any snubs this year for the All-Star team. Like, I really can't even like say there's any snubs just because like the league is so talented, and DeMar DeRozan, that's my guy. So Kai, I'm glad you said that. Shout out to you. I mean, he's been having a stellar year, but it's just so many talented guys. Like even when it came to the NBA starters, like I was a little salty that Dame wasn't a starter, but I couldn't really be mad because you look at the stuff Luka doing and. Like, can I really be that mad that Dame not starting over somebody who's averaging like 28, 8, and 8? I can't really be that upset.
I thought Trae Young. That's the only one I had. Like, because I thought he got snubbed because I thought Dame should have started just because of the position that team is in right now. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Like
I did have.
In terms of winning, I definitely think he should have made it. But the coaches and the media gave Dame his flowers. The fan vote just happened not to go in his favor. So, I can't really blame the fans for who they want to see. But, I just look for Dame to try to go out and get that MVP. But really, like, besides Sabonis, like Cop mentioned, like, I don't really see anybody who's like, like, oh, man, like, they had to have made the All-Star team. Like, Brad got it this year. D-Book made it this year. Zion made it this year.
He ain't make it. He just happened to make it.
Like, even when he didn't make it, I wasn't too mad because it's like, who you going to take out? Like Zion, to Kai's point, like they don't have a better record than the Suns, but he been balling. Like as of recently, he been putting up numbers that I really didn't think he was going to be doing, especially this early. He out there bullying Rudy Gobert, defensive player of the year. So this year I think they got it right.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by Zion. I was about to side note. I was really impressed by that Pelicans Bucks game. Zion matched up with Greek Freak very well. Was making Greek Freak look small at times. So I mean, he's definitely deserving.
Yeah. Well, Amir, I need to get your thoughts on this too. Who do you think got snubbed, or do you think they hit it right on the nose? Like we see the East All Stars, they got KD, who obviously isn't going to play. Who's going to step in for KD? I don't know if I heard about that.
Jason Tatum moved into the starter, and Sabonis took Jason Tatum's spot on the bench.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. I ain't mad at that. Damn, still no Trae Young. That lets you know a lot. Hey, man. Let me get your thoughts, though.
Yeah, I think, too, you're about to touch on the exact point that I was going to make, where it's like, I thought Trae would have made it just off the strength of his popularity, irregardless of his play, to be honest. And I think he kind of goes into the bigger question of like, okay, well, what exactly is the All-Star, weekend and performances really based around? And I know that all these guys are balling. Like I have their stats up now. Like who are you gonna take off? Bradley Beal's averaging 32. Right. Like Embiid, I mean, he's a pillar of the East end of the NBA. Giannis is Giannis. Kyrie's he's back on the tyrant, and you have my guys from Boston. But I mean, like and then you have Julius Randle, who's been balling this year. I mean, who do you take off? Maybe Ben Simmons.
Shout out to the Knicks, man.
Yeah, like I don't know who you take off, but I think to your point, like at some point in time, I really would like to see the NBA begin to really, really endorse more of these younger guys, aside from just aside from Zion, who justifiably so is there. I think the people want to see him, but I think people definitely want to see Trae hitting half court shots. People definitely want to see, Mitchell and Booker and those guys as well. So we'll see. I think
they made it
next.
Though. I think fans Booker made it. He was the injury replacement for AD. So all like the young guys besides Trae pretty much made it.
Yeah, he made it.
I think people got turned off by Trae Young because it was like, okay, last year you having these great numbers and your team is bad. Like it's not necessarily your fault. But now I think people, it's kind of all about narrative, right? Like all the guys this year to me are in playoff position teams, or like they at least are like on the fringe, or like surprising, like the Bulls, like. You got Zach LaVine. He got them overperforming what they're supposed to do. You got Julius Randle. The Knicks are overperforming. In Trae Young's case, he putting up numbers, but they're underperforming. Like and when you have a lot of talented guys in the NBA, like it just got to come to the criteria who winning. you know, like who winning? You know, like I like Trae Young, but the whole narrative is just like, all right, if we got 15 guys on each conference that are balling, you know, and their teams are winning, I mean, you got to start to get a nod to like winning if it comes to the reserves. But I would like to see Trae Young. He's definitely one of the more exciting players in our game, but you know, his excitement got to translate to just a few more victories, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And I think that you raised a really valid point. I think every single player here their team is very much so in the playoff race and can be considered legitimate. But I don't know. I think I look at the All-Star game in general as one that's like it's a fashion show in many ways. Aside from last year, I think last year was the most competitive game that they've had for obvious reasons in years.
In a minute.
But I think your point, I think showing like Trae is still a superstar outside of his team's performance, but as someone who validates winning over anything else, I agree with you. I think, you know, you got to reward the guys who are at least putting that work in, because I mean, even Washington with Beal, they may not be in a really top tier playoff position, but it's definitely not because Beal is bumming.
That nigga's averaging.
Right. Yeah, he's the guy. It's
right now.
Clear. It's not his fault.
Exactly. I agree with you. I think you made a very valid point with that. So I'm excited to see it. I'm interested to see how they do it. I know they're doing the dunk contest and during halftime. I kind of want to see how they lay down.
We gonna get into that a little bit later on. Yeah, I got a little bit of questions to ask y'all about that. But to your point too, Amir, I just thought it was a little bit crazy for Trae Young. Not saying that he did deserve it or anything like that. It's just it makes me look at Trae Young different now. Like, because I'm sure the Hawks are probably starting to look at him a little bit different. Due to the fact they just fired their head coach a couple days ago, which we're going to talk about. But it's just how they market Trae Young already. They market him, oh yeah, come see the All-Star play. Like, we got an All-Star, you know. Like, even when I was on the season ticket holder call, it was probably like 2-3 weeks ago. Oh yeah, we have an All-Star in the building, and it really wasn't no regard for John Collins. I'm gonna keep it honest. Like, it wasn't really, and in my head, I'm like, damn, that's who. I mean, Trae hard, of course, but Collins, to me, he gonna be the piece that hold it together a lot of times. So, it just makes me wonder, like, how is the Hawks looking at Trae Young now? Are they still gonna, I guess, market him like how they're marketing him? Which I'm sure they will, just because you
got to.
If you have a player like that who's liable to drop 30, you want to keep pushing the All-Star narrative. But the fact is, he's not an All-Star this year. So,
did you guys agree with?
In the league, like, I mean, it's going to take time, and I wouldn't give up on him. Yeah. I mean, it's very early in his career. A lot of great players don't see success until their 5th, 6th, 7th year in the league, and I mean, the ones who do it earlier are just anomalies. So, I mean, I wouldn't give up on it yet. I mean, let's be real. Like we said, it is a popularity contest too. So, I mean, the Hawks, they do have a talented team.
He got that popularity though.
But I mean, but I mean, you have to, like, to Nate's point, to Amir's point, you have to look at, you know, start calibrating on winning. Like, so you got to take. It's a lot of talented players, so you got to start factoring other things. And I mean, the Hawks, yes, they have talent, but all their talent is young. So, I mean, and then it's really their first year together, COVID year. Like, you got to factor in a lot of things. So, I wouldn't panic if I was them, or I wouldn't panic on Trae Young's side, the fact he didn't make an All-Star game this year. I mean, we'll see in the game.
I wouldn't panic at all. Because, like, last year, I didn't agree with him being a starter. Like, I didn't think that was correct, but I also don't agree with him not being on the team this year. Like, I feel like his ceiling right now is, like, he should be a consistent All-Star, but he's not an All-Star starter right now. To me, with the talent in the NBA, along with, you know, you got more seasoned and veteran guys that are, like, contributing to the wins. But I'm definitely not ready to give up on Trae Young just yet. But, you know, it's hard to be a consistent All-Star in the NBA. Like, there's guys coming in every year. Like, you know, who knows? Maybe Zach LaVine is just having the best year of his career, and he might fall out the running next year. Like, it happens, you know. Like, Brandon Ingram had a great year last year, still having a good year this year, but he's not an All-Star. Like, it's not all right, he's definitely an All-Star, you know. It's very few players in the league that just string together consistent All-Star appearances, you know. So he got time to grow, but he definitely has to work on the other parts of his game besides scoring. I think he holds the ball a little bit too much. I think that kind of turns people off a little bit. And, you know, just got to play some defense. Like if they want to go anywhere, he's gonna have to just try on defense. Like Kemba Walker, I think I've used that example on here before, but he's small, but he at least uses his quickness to try to stay in front, draw some charges, box out. I don't really see Trae Young do too much of that, so he got to work on the winning parts of the game too.
Yeah, this is real quick. I think to your point, bro. Like, I will say the East is a lot more healthy this year than it was last year. The NBA in general, I feel like it's more healthy than it was. I mean, if we look back, you had Steph, he was out. You had KD, he was out. I mean, like you had Kyrie.
Kyrie was out most of the year.
Yeah, so like you had. I'm even looking through it now. You had a lot of guys who were out, so it gave, to your exact point, it gave room for us to look at a guy like Trae and say, okay, well, you are hitting things from half court. We're missing that in the league right now, i.e. Steph wasn't playing. How much does that play a factor in? Do we need another Steph?
That's a good ass point.
When we got Steph right now, like we don't really, we can kind of keep him waiting in the wings until, to your exact point, bro, like you develop something outside of what we already have. So yeah, I think again, now that we look back at it, I think the right people are there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this all goes.
Yeah, I really think too. I forgot who said it, just about trying to see more younger guys and implementing like Zion. I forgot who said something about Zion, but I want to see LaMelo, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. This year in particular, this is what I'll say. I would have liked them to extend the amount of players that they could have on the roster, just because how kind of awkward this year is, and they're not really doing they're not having the rookies, like the rookies versus sophomore, or those games that they usually have.
They haven't. It's the World versus USA now. That's the new name of the rookie versus sophomore game. It's no longer rookie sophomore. It's World versus USA, but rookie sophomore. So LaMelo is playing.
But
he definitely got selected for it. Yeah, they're having it.
Because then he's on the world team.
I'm good then.
Melo is. We gonna see him at All-Star Weekend. So yeah, I'm fine with that because he's a baller. But we gonna see him at All-Star Weekend.
I'm good then. I didn't know that they were gonna do that game, so I just thought it was just the other contests and things in the middle of that. I didn't know they were gonna still do that game for this one. But hey, man. All my questions are answered. Let's move over to this next topic, man. Speaking more on this All-Star week, on this All-Star weekend, should the NBA do all the events this All-Star weekend, or do you think they should pick and choose? Because I ain't even gonna lie, I looked at the dunk contest like, bruh, I'm not about to watch this, bro. And I get it's probably their chance to see, like, all right, let's not saying that Obi Toppin and these other guys are just randoms, but let's see how we do with just not the top stars. You know what I'm saying? Like if Zion was to get in that fourth position, and it'd be some other just great dunkers and stuff, like even Anthony Edwards. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it'd be more turned than what it is now. Like I feel like nobody's gonna be watching that. The 3-point contest.
You ain't clicking out for 15 minutes. You're gonna be watching that.
It ain't that I'm not clicking. The TV's still gonna be on, but I'm gonna be doing something else. You feel? Usually you be having to look. You feel me?
Hey, bro, I've been to
sit there and watch that.
They've had some terrible dunk contests with good dunkers though. Like you remember that year it was Aaron Gordon, Derek Jones Jr., DeAndre Jordan. Like they had some good dunkers in dunk contests that have been trash. But to your point, this dunk contest slate isn't the best, but I'm not going to sleep on Cassius Winston one because Cassius Stanley. He's from like the LA area. So I've seen him. He got crazy bounce, bro. So don't be surprised. Like Anthony Simons was kind of my surprise pick for that. I've seen he got bounce, but I don't know about creativity. But I've seen Cassius do between the legs on people in high school. So it's good halftime entertainment. People want to see a dunk contest. If they come out with some hard stuff, we'll look at it in hindsight and be like, all right, it was a good idea for them to have it. But the one thing I don't think that the NBA needs to have is the skills competition. Like to me is the most dry event. Like when you have a competition of passing the ball, you make a three, you make a layup, like it's good skill, but you can also get lucky. I think Bam Adebayo was in the finals last year. Not to say he's not a skilled guy, but is he the most skilled? Like, does that challenge really mean anything? Like does anybody flex the skills challenge? Like, like if I'm a dunker, I'd be like, bro, I might put that on my resume, right? You feel me? But I don't know anybody that's just like, man, I won that skills challenge. Like, I'm the guy. Like, I haven't really heard that narrative. So I think we could go without that one. But the 3-point contest, all the guys are in there. They're all in the game. For sure. So I definitely respect the 3-point contest. You know, you got to get it in. The NBA is adjusting, but I think they did it right with the 3-point contest.
What the hell? What skills? I don't know. I ain't gonna say that because people be getting on me. But I don't know what skills Robert Covington showed that make him just a goddamn. Because they usually have like the Ginobili's and the Dragics and Steve Nash and these, bro.
Not Robert Covington, bro.
And that's the.
But no, Amir, let me get your thoughts on this, man.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think that's why the All-Star weekend is like people are even questioning why you even have it. Like, if the NBA has anything over the NFL, it's the All-Star weekend. Like, people who don't watch basketball on an everyday basis will tune in and have a whole party for the All-Star weekend. But the biggest issue that I think the NBA is having with this weekend is that no stars don't want to be a part of some of the other aspects. If they're not in the All-Star game, or even if they're in the All-Star game, they're not trying to participate in nothing else. And that's been something that has gradually changed or progressed over time. I mean, we would love to see a LeBron. I kind of understand why he wouldn't, but I mean, shit, Jordan did it. Not to compare, but I mean, superstars have done it and have gone 100% in it. And it's just, I feel like for most of our generation, it's kind of been like that. I feel like the last big superstar who was like a known dunker and like kind of was low-key a face of the league was Blake Griffin. Yeah, like that was.
Stars don't compete in the dunk contest anymore. Like, do it in game. That's what they think. Like, do it in game.
High school when that was popping off. So like, I think that would be my question. If I was working in the league, I would really try and sit down with like people like LeBron, people like Giannis, and be like, hey, what do we need to do to make this entire thing more inclusive and bring you guys into some of the aspects aside from this All-Star game? Or are we just make the All-Star game super incentivized, not necessarily for money, but like they did last year? Winner sends money to a charity. Like, you need to score a certain amount by a certain point in time and just slowly dwindle away the other aspects. Or turn them into more like fan-related events where like you can have fans on the court. You can turn it into something where like you can have fans interacting with superstars. Because I mean, sure, if you look at the people who are there, I mean, I'm pretty sure a little kid they'll take an autograph from Obi Toppin. He's not really, what is he doing? You can have a fan. It'll be more beneficial to the NBA, to be honest, if you let the fans be even more involved than just giving us this, trying to make it seem like we haven't seen men dunk over cars before. But
you gotta pay. You gotta pay. If you want stars in the dunk contest, I'm gonna put it like this: you gotta pay them because like they're getting one. Most of the stars in the NBA are worried about winning. Like, they're not really concerned about like all-star events. And two, like most of the people that are the best dunkers in the league are like, they're usually not the best players in the league because like they be working on dunks. You feel me? They be trying to get creative. Like, they'll stay in the gym doing windmills and like 360s or whatever because that's their time to shine. But the LeBrons, the Giannis's, like they are great athletes, but they trying to dunk on you. Like they could care less on like how pretty you look. Like they trying to
see now I got a question. Wait, Cop, real quick before I let you get in here, because I know you got to get in here. So I just wanted to get it. I wanted to get y'all thoughts on LeBron sitting out tonight to play in the All-Star game. What y'all think about that? Y'all, you know what I'm saying?
First one of the season. Everybody else.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm just saying, hey, he's sitting out to play an All-Star game after he didn't want to play it because they being overworked. I don't know. It's crazy to me a little bit. It don't make sense.
I mean, low management is a part of the game today, so I mean, everybody does it.
And this is first one against the Kings of all people.
Like, LeBron's reputation is still like the man has been, healthy for 99% of his career. So I mean,
I give you that.
I give him 36. Bro, 36.
Kind of just rose the eyebrow to me though.
Which one more important though, Micah? Like for your image, this Thursday night.
Which one is more important? The most important one is beating the Sacramento Kings ass instead of trying to play in that All-Star game.
Not in the regular season.
That's what's most important. They've been getting their ass thwacked for the last week and a half. That's what's most important.
What's crazy about all that though? They still number 3 in the West after getting their ass for 3 weeks. So why not take the day off against the bum Kings? You feel me? Let Kuzma go out there, go to the 40 ball, lose.
You're supposed to beat who in front
of you. They still have a chance to win tonight.
Yeah, they still do. That's the crazy part. They still could.
You see. Nah, Kat, I know you ain't get in on the topic, man. I gotta hear what you gotta say.
I was just gonna chime in on the point where we were talking about, star athletes of the league performing in the All-Star game, man. I know throughout my time of hooping, like it's always been the best player has never had the most bounce. So I mean, don't get me wrong, the best players in the league are crazy athletes, but I mean, let's take it back to Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, who I think gave us the
best one ever
All-Star, dunk contest we've ever seen. And neither one of those, LaVine is great. He's an All-Star this year. I have much respect for his game, but neither one of them are considered top 5 or top 10 Michael Jordans of the league. Or LeBron James.
What about Jason Richardson? Like I'm just going back in time. Like I know he ain't top 5, but I'm just.
Right. But I mean, even if you go, VC was a great talent, but he was still really known as a dunker.
Richardson is underrated.
Yeah, very, very.
DeMar DeRozan was in it. Terrence Ross was in it. Like you got springy dudes, but they're not stars though. Right. Like you got athletes.
And I would say, like, we know, like, I think that this lineup isn't the greatest we've seen, but I think there is some talent. Like you said, Cassius Stanley, crazy athlete. Obi Toppin, he's known for dunking, basically new wave Blake Griffin. Like you said, Anthony Simons was my one that I'm kind of skeptical about, but I'm pretty sure he's a crazy athlete, so we're gonna see what he got. Like it's always good to expose young talent, rather than to get the known guys that get all the press and publicity anyway. They're going to play in the game, so that's what that was just my viewpoint on that topic. But as far as the 3-point competition, hey, that lineup is full of bucket getters. That might be
that joint gonna be busting.
Bucket getting lineup I've ever seen. Like they're not just shooters. Every single one of them.
Facts. They're not snipers. Like besides Steph, I wouldn't consider nobody in that lineup.
Besides Steph, like every single. I'm like, yo, I was looking for the, Kyle Korvers and JJ Redick.
Joe Harris.
Yeah, right. They got D Book. Like Jaylen Brown, a little surprising me. He can shoot it for sure, but I consider Jaylen Brown athlete. Like
he is streaky shooter.
He's shooting 39%, but I feel he's not a sniper. He's not what I would consider like a definition of a classical 3-point threat. Like he's an all-around get it done guy.
He learned how to shoot as opposed to walking in knowing how to shoot.
For sure. His jumper is tremendously improved. So it was just a little shocker to me, but he can definitely shoot the ball. And as far as you made a great point as far as switching it up with the events. And to chime in on your point, Nate, with the skills challenge, like I totally agree. It's the event that you're talking about, not watching Micah, just got it on, not paying attention. That's the event. It's always been that for me. I feel like it's basically basic skill level. Like any guy can go out there and do that. In all honesty, I'd like to see
I could go out there
one-on-one tournament. Like a one-on-one clean the court.
Thanks.
I think that.
I remember. Somebody, I think CJ McCollum had said something to that degree, just saying he wanted to see like a one-on-one thing, like a king of the court. But
and even to that point, like it's a lot of one-on-one bucket getters in the league that aren't known as like star players, like Deion Waiters, the Jamal Crawfords. Like it's guys who are more talented.
That's something that Melo would.
Right.
That's something that Melo would excel in, bro. Like 101. Right.
Jordan Clarkson would be those dudes who could be a tough cover in that too. Like the way he's playing, you got some quick dudes, shifty dudes in the league.
You still might not even have to get your top talent, your KDs, your Hardens. Like you still, and there'll still be a busting event. So I'm definitely all for innovation. Just coming up, switching it up a little bit. I feel like the dunk contest is a staple. So is a 3-point contest. But I definitely think that they can implement new games that would be just as entertaining, if not more.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and roll over to this next one.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I won't be tuning into the All-Star Weekend, which I don't know why are they calling it All-Star Weekend, because it's only one day. both the events and the All-Star game. So it should be All-Star Day, not weekend. And secondly, I'll just catch the highlights on YouTube. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into this next one. We got the Atlanta Hawks. They done fired their head coach, man. Lloyd Pierce. He got in there and he got out of there. And now Nate McMillan is filling in for him. I just wanted to get y'all thoughts on this fire. Do you think it was warranted? The Hawks are having a kind of a bad season this year. And one thing I did notice though, because Pierce had went out like 2 weeks ago because his daughter. I don't know. He had a baby, so he was out for like 2 weeks. And while McMillan was coaching, they was balling. So I just felt like, man, I felt like they had that in their back pocket the whole time because they knew the caliber of coach Nate McMillan was. And if you fire a Lloyd Pierce, always having somebody like a Nate McMillan to bounce back on, to fall off on, that's something you can't, you know what I'm saying? You're getting the best of both, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's an interesting situation, man. I don't know if he deserves to get fired, but right now it is a what are you doing for me now type league. And the Atlanta Hawks have made a lot of moves this past offseason, and it's not really, and I get it, it's the first year, but it's not really showing improving like how it should be, especially with the acquisitions of Rondo. You got Gallinari, Cam Reddish is growing into itself. You got John Collins out there who's a 20-10 guy nightly. So it's even Clint Capella coming back and being healthy. So it's just a lot of questions surrounding that organization. And I feel like Nate McMillan probably is their best chance of getting it back on track. What's y'all thoughts on that?
Man, I think I'm gonna go ahead and say, like you said, Mike, I'm agreeing. So what have you done for me now lately, league? I'm gonna go ahead and say it wasn't warranted off the sole fact that all of their offseason acquisitions, like you mentioned, Danilo Gallinari, Rajon Rondo, Bogdanovich, they've all missed like big time games. And like I'm talking double digit games, and we in a shortened season already. So you missing all those type of games with health. And then, I think the kind of made it a mess, making it public that they were shopping around John Collins or, either shopping around John Collins or that he was frustrated within the organization. I think that report kind of hurt their team camaraderie as well. Because, Trae Young is very excited, but he does hold the ball kind of often, a little bit kind of like a Jay Harden. He dribbles a lot. That's not a bad thing. He controls the pace. But, those rumors leaking, I don't think that helped. But all that being said, I really don't think that Lloyd Pierce was that good of a coach in his tenure with the Hawks. I think game execution, they were really, really bad. I never really thought he found a plan to like kind of hide Trae Young's defensive capabilities, which can be a tough task, but I don't think he ever really, found the correct lineups. So, Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter or Cam Reddish or DeAndre Hunter. I don't think he ever found a right combination to help Trae Young out on the defensive end. But I will say it was a little premature because, the free agency acquisitions, if they're not healthy, how can you base somebody's success off this season so far? Unlike what happened in Minnesota, I thought Ryan Saunders definitely should have got the boot. Didn't really see the fit there. I think they did a good job or a good thing by giving the organization that after his father passed away. But never thought he was ready for that type of job. I never got that feel from Lloyd Pierce, but I can see why the organization did it. They got a lot of talent down there, and windows close soon in the NBA. Like John Collins, that window is going to start shrinking pretty soon. So you got to start trying to write it down.
Because that's one thing too. That contract that's coming up for Collins. That's coming up.
I don't know why they don't want to give him that money. Like maybe not.
I'd
re-sign him with no hesitation.
There's gonna be a team that break the bank on his ass with a smile too. Pop, let me get your thoughts on this, man. And also too, man, it's also just interesting just to look at it how it was a black man, now it's another black man. But I don't know, Lloyd Pierce did good for what he had last year with Trae Young, with that team, but it's just not translating this year. But Kyle, let me get your thoughts.
I will say I think it's a little premature. This was his third year with the team, I believe. So and then it's like I feel like a lot of people are, and this is against all professionals because time doesn't stop moving. But we're not taking into account enough about the circumstances of this year. Like it's tough, man. Like we're saying, like they didn't even have the majority of their roster this year. So I mean, for you to jump on the porch and just automatically find a scapegoat and kind of panic, I feel like I feel like it was just a little premature. But I will say that the success of a interim head coach stepping in is always, a backbone break, and Nate McMillan is a proven veteran. I respect him as a coach as well, like what he did in his time with Indiana. So I mean, hey, like you all said, the window closes fast in this league. They do have talent in Atlanta, and I mean they want to see it, starting to come together better than this. I expected a little bit more from them this year as well. So I mean, it is what it is. It's the nature of the coaching business. So he didn't prove, like I said, we didn't see the growth. Nate, you made a great point about Trae Young's on the defensive end. I mean, it's been a blatant problem, and it hasn't been, fixed well enough. So I mean, that's just the nature of the business. So yeah, I mean, I think Nate McMillan, I'd like to see him lock in that permanent position. Next.
Yeah, I think he will though too. And I'm happy did come out that it said that he had got the blessing from Lloyd Pierce to take the job, the interim job. And one thing too, the article did highlight, Nate, what you talked about earlier, just with the young guys that they have over there, is that it was just the players that were disgruntled. And I had to send you all the article. It said Trae Young, John Collins, and Cameron Reddish. So when you had three of your youngest and most bright assets into it with the coach, it's gonna either be the players or the coach, and the easiest fix is the coach, man. So that's another way to look at it too. Even though I don't know what's going on totally internally, but I can understand it. Amir, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately, I think Atlanta's at a point where they see, I think, what I kind of see, where it's like, okay, we're currently the 11th seed in the standing. However, we're only 4 to 5 seeds away from being the 4th seed. And the 4th seed is Boston, who's holding on to it by a thread. We added new coaching, to your point. They played good with him. They already showed a little bit of disgruntlement with the current coach. I mean, I kind of get it's all-star weekend or day or break, whatever the case may be. You have time to kind of get the guys accustomed. I think if there's any time to replace a coach, you do it right now as opposed to waiting and giving him a little bit more time, which would have been the fair thing to do. But I think the calendar didn't really set up for that. I think Atlanta looks at their roster and they say we have guys who can make a playoff push. We can get them. Why they shouldn't be in there. And any way that they can try and solidify that they get there, I understand it. It's unfortunate that his name is slipping my mind. Lloyd was kind of let go, but they have a guy who's been in the league for a long time. He played in the NBA. Nate being like he knows these kids. He knows how the game is going. You have one of the top rising guys in the league on your team. I think they're starting to think further along about how we're going to show him how we deal with coaching and discrimination, how we're going to keep the organization staying fresh so that he doesn't leave, and how we attract more guys to Atlanta. I think that's another big question. I think they really need another wing. They need somebody else alongside Trae and Capella, especially if Collins gets let go or to walk. So I think they were thinking about a lot of different pieces. And unfortunately, Lloyd was just the piece that's the easiest to move right now. So we'll see. We'll see if it ends up being a benefit or if it's not. But I think the biggest thing is that they look at the standings and they're like, with a break, we're only 4 games out from being the 4th seed. We can easily be in the top 4 in the conference.
Hey man, the Knicks holding it down. They don't need to be nowhere around us. We left them bums out there, to drown. So we don't need them nowhere around us. There's no bum zone. There's gonna be a lot of tricking.
But
ATL this week.
I think
there's
Lloyd
gonna be a lot of tricking.
He got caught up because when there's always a lot of off-season acquisitions, it's always gonna be that added pressure. And you brought in a dude like Rondo, who just came off a championship. You brought a dude like Danilo Gallinari, who coming off one of his best seasons yet. Big time contributor for He brought in Bogdanovich, who supposedly the Bucks really wanted and didn't work out. So you brought in all these different pieces. You know, Clint Capella, got Nate McMillan on the bench. All these flashy like names that you would think like, okay, we really got something down here in Atlanta. And like when it just doesn't pan out, it's always going to come back on the coach, unfortunately. It's really just shakes out in sports, unfortunately. But I really can't blame Lloyd Pierce for this specific situation. I hope he does get another opportunity. But, you know, I think the front office they put a little bit too much pressure on him with these high price signings, I guess. But in reality, I don't think those guys are that great either. You know, Rondo, he's a good player, but at this point in his career, he's not the needle pusher for a young team. Like, he's the needle pusher for a veteran team. But for a team like Atlanta that's just trying to grow, I don't think he was the right fit. I don't think Danilo was the right older guy. I mean, he's a stretch shooter. Yeah, he was hot against the Celtics not long ago, but is that the permanent fix for a young team? I don't think so. Bogdanovich, you spent big time on Bogdanovich when you already got Kevin Huerter, DeAndre.
Me too, bro.
So I don't, they made a few questionable decisions. So it just, didn't work out. But I really don't understand Brandon Bogdanovich. He's solid. He's a $72 million player to me, though.
Yeah, and the thing is that Atlanta definitely put themselves in the best situation because Nate McMillan is proven. So we seen what he was able to do in Indiana, and we seen what he was just able to do with Oladipo, at a young time in his career. But before we get on to this next topic, I definitely want to let y'all know this next topic is being sponsored by Aquanu. So let's get into it. This podcast is being sponsored by Aquanu Hydrate. Make sure you go over there on Instagram, shoot them a DM, and let them know you want an order of a case of this water, man. And make sure you put Micah and friends in the message, and you may get a discount, man. You never know. Make sure you go over there and check Aquanu Hydrate out, and let's get back to this podcast.
We got commercials now. My God.
We back at it though, man. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. We got the Rockets, and they're retiring I'm gonna just say he's the best player to ever put that jersey on. I don't care about a King. I don't care about McGrady. He's the best person to put that jersey on.
They're King got him a ring.
Hey, you said what?
King got him a ring, Holmes.
Don't care.
Don't care. What you mean? I know what you're saying. You got him 2 rings, bro.
Yeah, they putting up James Harden jersey up in the Raptors. I want to just get y'all thoughts about this. They are playing Brooklyn tonight in Houston, so I'm sure they're probably gonna do a little ceremony. I just want to get y'all thoughts about this. Do you think this was the right move by the organization, or they should have said, "Hey man, the hell with you. Just left us high and dry after 10, 15 games. Hey, F you." I'm gonna start it off with Amir, man.
You can do something like that in the NFL. I don't think the NBA you can really pull a move off like that. I think the league is too player driven. It's too. I know good people here. You can go there and you have good energy and all these other good things to do something like that. I think on top of that, I think it was the right time for him to go. So I think punishing him for leaving, I think at this point would be a little futile. I think they should do it. I think it's the right thing to do. He is, if not the best, then he's top 2 players that they've ever had. Didn't really do a thing in the playoffs, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's still. You can't tell the history of the Houston Rockets without saying James Harden. And I'm willing to bet a lot of money that no player wearing number 13 will do what he did in that jersey. So for that reason, you give that to him and you wrap it up, give it to him in a bow, and you take that momentum, you take how you treated him and you pass it on to somebody else, and you say, hey, you see how we treat our superstars? We can treat you the same exact way. I think it's a no-brainer. If I was in management, I would have gave it to him on the way out. you have to give that to him.
Yeah. I get it, man. Like I said, he's definitely one of the best things that definitely hit that town. We had to have a good debate on whether he was the best or not. But man, he put Houston on in a period of time where we didn't really know what Houston was going to be. They had I forgot who they had in there before Harden.
Josh Smith,
Pat Bev,
Patrick Beverly, Corey Brewer. Ryan Anderson. You know, he
had old school. That's the Micah. That's the jersey
and they were cool, but they just weren't like, you know what I'm saying, they weren't going to be going into that next generation and taking off.
Yeah, they were getting swept in the first round at that time.
Yeah, I mean, and nothing's pretty much changed about that. Nah, they still get swept out here, but man, I just think it was good, man. I think it was good for Harden, you know, even to see his jersey get put up in the Raptors for a city he put on so much, for a city he gave so much back to, you know, in all aspects of it. You know, he gave a lot to that city, so definitely shout out to him for that. Then, too, man, it was just a class act on the organization's part, just to show, like, even though this did end kind of fuzzy and bad, we were still able to come out on top and still honor the great player Harden is, you know, and just be able to hang him up in a place that he feels comfortable with, and that's between Cinnamon and Autumn. So definitely shout out to my boy. But no, man, let me get your thoughts on that,
man. Like you said, man, class act by the organization. I mean, you hit that nail on the head as well. Like, it's just showing what type of organization you have, and it's just opening the door for the next man who's coming in there. You know, it's professionalism. I mean, like, no one can deny what Harden did in that during his tenure in Houston. I mean, he definitely. Pretty sure he made that city millions of dollars in revenue. Sure. Just having for people. He sold tickets alone. Like you said, we just named the guys who were playing alongside him. So him alone, Fear the Beard, will forever be legendary in Houston. So I definitely
real quick, because you said something so good. He made the city so much millions, and he gave the millions right back. Man, he's a veteran.
Yeah, that too. And then as much as he does in the community, like, it goes.
You know how many people he probably didn't put through college,
right?
Yo, at some obscure time at 2 a.m. in the morning. Hey, stop playing with him. He is not one of those.
Yeah. College tuitions and Cardinals.
For sure. For even on the philanthropy.
Good for the GDP.
As much as he's involved as he is in the community, you know, with disaster relief and things like that. So I mean, it was definitely well deserved, and a class act by the organization.
Nate, let me get your thoughts on this, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you guys, but one thing I will say is just not yet. Like, it for me, even, you know, as an organization, you can be a great organization. I personally just wouldn't have announced it just yet, because it really wouldn't have changed anything. Like, I would have probably waited until, like, at least after the season, just so, like, you know, I mean, realistically, right now he is a competitor. Like, you know, I'd give him the tribute video and all that, but I mean, he's gone for this season, and he made a mess out of it on the way out. Even though he did, you know, he does a lot for the community. He's a great star and all, but at the end of the day, I mean, like, why are we rewarding being rude to the organization and the players and the people in that organization, you know, that did a lot to you? I wouldn't say not to retire his jersey. Number 13 has to go up in the Houston Rockets rafters. You know, it has to. Like Amir said, you can't talk about the history of the Houston Rockets without talking about Jay Harden. He was an MVP.
But Nate,
almost got into a final.
I was gonna say, but what if somebody on the team this year tries to grab number 13? Look,
but this the thing. What if they do grab number 13, and what if that person turn out to go get you a chip?
That's still
if he go grab and go get a chip, Harden ain't gonna be thought of no more.
So I do feel that, but I definitely probably would have waited until, like, just after the season, because right now, you know, even though they suck, you my competition, the focus is not going to be on you coming into the building. That's how I would be as a competitor. I understand from an organizational standpoint, you know, like Amir said, you got to show the rest of the league, because there will be stars that come to Houston at some point. I mean, it's Houston. Like, it's an attractive free agent destination. So, you know, as long as you treat players well, like, you know, that people will come around. Like, you're not a shit show like the Knicks sometimes. This year they're playing good, but, you know, realistically, how they
I'm about to say, you gotta chill, man.
Just historically,
hearing trash and the Knicks in the same sentence now is kind of like it's not registering anymore. So you know what I'm saying? Right. So you gotta be careful with the words, man. We 4.5 games from out of first place.
You know, like I get it though, because I mean KD's jersey, he didn't win a ring in OKC. Him and Russell, their jersey should definitely be retired in OKC. You know, they did for that franchise, literally put that franchise on the map from day one. I mean, it makes sense. So I understand why you got to retire Harden's jersey. I just probably wouldn't have made that announcement just yet, but you know, hey.
Get some buckets on this. Yeah, if I can jump in real quick, I think on top of that, I think nobody wants to be the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2010 when LeBron left and the entire state of Ohio was kicking and screaming, bashing the man, made it seem like he wasn't even from the state. I mean, I think that's a big thing that why people are kind of preemptively doing it and trying to allow guys to kind of leave in the way that they leave and let the public kind of decide how they want to look at them, because nobody wants to be Cleveland. Nobody. That single-handedly kind of ruined why Cleveland is the way it is as far as.
Well, the owner wrote a letter. He wrote a terrible personal letter to LeBron. That's what really made the whole thing bad. Like I'm not asking for the Rockets organization to do anything like that, because that's just uncalled for, unprofessional. Just in terms of waiting though, like, you know, that it was kind of bad though. Like he did him a little grimy in terms of the way he treated that organization, in terms of like, you know, not showing up, but also showing up at birthday parties during a coronavirus pandemic. Like you were in your team, like your teammates, and then you talking about they trash dudes that are on your active roster right now. Like John Wall, Victor wasn't on the roster then, but him, PJ Tucker, all those dudes that have played with Jay Harden besides John Wall, they're still on the roster. And Jay Harden pretty much called them trash before he walked out the door. So, you know,
get some buckets.
That's not the best message you send into the players on your roster right now either. Eric Gordon been there, 6 years? PJ Tucker been there like 4 or 5. Like, you know, he kind of disrespected those guys on the way out. And those dudes showed they've never come out to the organization, said anything bad. Like, they just played their game, you know, and they tried to play their role next to Harden. It didn't work out. But he threw salt on their name on the way out, which was kind of disrespectful.
One thing you got to understand, though, this man averaged 30 points for 30 games. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care what he say to these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did for them what nobody would do for him. So I don't care if he.
And that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if he go to, what's his name? Nick Fatima, Fertila or something. I forgot that owner name. I don't care if he go to him and, hey, you're trash. Like, I don't care.
No, it's a fact. I say, you gotta retire the jersey. I just wouldn't have done it just yet, because I highly doubt anybody would have came in and took 13 anyway. I just wouldn't have made the formal announcement. Like, I'm not gonna kiss nobody's feet who was that kind of blatantly disrespectful on the way out. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, you got to at least give it a year to ice out, let that time play off, and then kind of do it out.
I don't think he'll get booed tonight either. Like, the fans still got love for Jay Harden, but he just might though. Like he just
I ain't gonna lie. I like seeing, like, when they do the like how they do tributes to players like during the season. I don't like when they like, all right, we gonna announce we're gonna do it, but we gonna wait till next year. Like, nah, I want to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into this last one real quick. I need to get y'all thoughts just on NBA Top Shot. This is something that's brand new. They're selling highlights, cards, like virtual stuff, and people are paying thousands and hundreds of thousands for these products. Luka Doncic just sold his rookie card yesterday for $4.6 million. So I just need to get y'all thoughts on, do y'all think this is a good way for the memorabilia market to be more increased, or do you think the NBA is, I feel like they may be playing off the players.
Appreciate you all.
What deal they have with the NBPA, but they're both in on it. But I'm sure the players aren't getting, majority of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would want my film, and I'm sure that, well, I'm not sure. I know the NBA owns all the film and the rights and stuff to it. But as a player, if we doing, I need 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you shot it, but this is me. I'm the art in motion, and I need to 50-50 for this, bro. You telling me a rookie card is worth $4.6 million? Like,
well, you can buy your own rookie card and then sell it for $4.6 million, though. Like, I think that's what Luka did. Like, he owned his own rookie card, so you could sell that for 4.6. But I agree with you. The issue with the Top Shot is, like, they're basically doubling down on your image and likeness. So they're already using it for the actual product on floor and getting, the 50-50 revenue split. But then they're going to take select moments and then sell them again. Like that's doubling down. You feel me? So to your point, I do think the players should get some percentage. I think CJ McCollum was on Twitter. He was just like, how much did Bron get paid for this? Like, it was a moment Bron Duncan. He was like, how much did Bron get paid for this? Like,
people buying them for like 30,000. I seen something the other day. Like they bought like 3 of his dunks for 30,000. I'm like, damn.
All I'm gonna say is, if the nerds want to pay for a moment that you could probably up on YouTube, or you want to go pay for a card, go ahead, bro. I'm gonna try to go pay for the front first row seat before I go pay for collectible.
It's a market for it though. So you know what I'm saying? Like people are like serious about like they treating this like the stock market. Like you need to buy this highlight while it's worth this. Then when 2 years later you can sell it. Like literally, bro. People are like waiting time and selling the highlights. I'm like, bro, what makes you think this video goes up 20, 10? You know what I'm saying? 20 or 15 more $1,000 than what it is when you had it. But I don't know how the business works. This is a very raw topic, but I just want to get y'all thoughts on that. And another thing on that one is too, I just feel like it's just not well known about what the revenue splits are. So that's one thing I would like to know more about. But Kyle, let me get your thoughts on this though.
I do think from the NBA standpoint, it's definitely a very smart marketing tactic. You can't deny that. Nate, you're totally right as far as them doubling down on the image and likeness of the players. I would like definitely for them to release more information on how that split is going, but since certain players such as CJ McCollum are complaining, I mean, it's obviously giving you some insight like it's not as even as it should be. I'm still very confused on how you sell a highlight. Because you can go on you see any, whether it's a YouTube video, Instagram clip, house of highlights. Like you can go anywhere and watch Bleacher Report and watch these clips. So where's the real value?
We post highlights.
I repost highlights every day.
Right. Yeah. So unless you're limiting that, like the amount of the accessibility to the content, which is rarely impossible. When I think about it, I don't see how they would do that. Then I don't see how the real value behind it. But if they are selling these collectibles for $30,000 and people are actually purchasing them, then hey, I think it's genius.
One thing too, just to piggyback off that, I see why OJ did what he did, bro. Like he went in there to get that memorabilia. If y'all, look at Nate. He thought
hey yo.
He went in that hotel to get that memorabilia, So
he was in Vegas.
I can see why. If it's bringing in money like that, I'm sure players would want that in, especially some that's at the latter end. Not even a latter end. The ones that's retired 10, 15 years from the game, that's not really having the same coins coming in. I'm sure they're gonna want ends on all that. So, but man, that y'all are crazy, man. Y'all talking about OJ.
I still don't understand though. Like, did y'all? Because I really literally just saw it one day, and then next thing you know, like people were talking about it, like on First Take, the jumper and stuff like that. Did you guys read anything about this beforehand? Because I literally never saw anything about it.
Yeah,
and then I was just finding moments.
So I'm reading on it now. The moments are the difficult, tricky piece, and I was reading about it because we actually are at my company. We're trying to do some work with them.
Okay.
The main thing that's getting most of the money is like the hard memorabilia. Like a big market right now outside of this. So what I'm looking at is like they also have partnerships with the teams. They also have partnerships, again, with specific players who are able to then sell things that they have that are theirs onto that website. And then, again, we don't know the splits. We don't know the percentages. I'm assuming if these guys have good agents, like I'm assuming Luka does, he's getting 75% of that. I mean, you have to imagine. You have to imagine.
If not, I would just backdoor it. Like, man, hey, just give me 4 on the backdoor.
I mean, because that's what
all you got to do is look. like you could theoretically screen record your own clip. Like if I was Kevin Durant, or say I'm James Harden and I just wanted to sell that video of me dropping Wesley Johnson, which I'm pretty sure will go for a nice pity. Like, couldn't I theoretically just screen record that clip and sell it?
But I think the thing that comes into play, and I get what you're saying, but the thing that comes into play is that the NBA owns, like, you know what I'm saying, they own the rights to the video and stuff like that. So as far as them, like, I just don't know where the money comes from, bro. Like, I don't get where the W is at for the T's.
Question. So Amir, you mentioned that are they selling like actual collectibles items as far as like game worn jerseys, shoes, things like that, or is it only?
I think they selling all that. They selling those like highlights.
So to that point, now my next question is, if it's, let's say it's a game worn jersey, and you know you're making this deal with the NBA. Let's use the example with Luka Doncic. He's getting 75%. Why even go through the Top Shot? You can just sell it yourself without even going through that. To you know what I'm saying? Like that's 25% of the revenue you're losing from your item by going through Top Shot. Whereas it's not illegal for people to sell their personal belongings. So I'm still not really.
Hey, I'm reading something on the website right now, and I'm guessing that like they're treating this like a stock portfolio. So guys are going out here buying so many highlight, like, oh yeah, let me get all these KD highlights. You know what I'm saying? Like, have the greatest moments of his like career, and people are selling their portfolio. Hey man, I need about $2 million for this. Like, for all these highlights. I don't get it though. I just don't get it.
I still don't get it either, because like, are you gonna play it on a continuous loop at your house? Like, how you do what status comes from it?
What's about to start happening is people who used to like record games and put them on YouTube for nothing, and they were getting paid off of the hundreds of thousands of views that they would get for that content. The NBA is about to start stripping that stuff off of YouTube and getting it off of YouTube, because those people don't own those videos. So a lot of the highlights, unless you see them on like Sports Center or Fox Sports, whatever the case is, they're not really going to be super out there for anybody to be able to see. So that at this point they're kind of, which is nuts, but smart at the same exact time.
I can see where the money.
Yeah, like I
can see where the money could be made through there, because real quick before you get back, the Zone. I don't know if y'all heard about the Zone. They do like they host boxing events. Like Canelo Alvarez is signed.
DAZN, right?
Like a 10,
DAZN, that thing, the app.
Yeah, the Zone, and they like, bro, literally anytime. Like, I can't post, like, say a fight happened, I can't post anything, no clips. The only way you can see clips of them is if you post it and you already know that they're getting all the bread from you posting that, because they'll let you know it's copyright, or you're not gonna be able to post it at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll just say, nah, this is blocked, and the algorithm picks it up automatically. So it's like, damn, like, you can't really slip nothing out without it getting checked. So,
well, Micah, I have a quick question.
NBA,
hold on one second, fellas. I have a quick question. Anybody can answer this. Okay, let's say Kevin Durant, for example, was to use his likeness, such as his autograph and his image, create a custom jersey, autograph it, and put it up for auction. Will that be an infringement on the NBA?
I don't think so.
I don't think you can make your own jersey if it has the NBA logo on it. I think that would be probably once it goes out of bounds. I mean, people sell their game-worn jerseys all the time.
Yeah,
like, if you could take your jersey home. Yeah,
getting the jersey is the easy part. I think of course, the easy thing, athletes will always be able to do a lot more things on their own, especially if they have a really good team around them. But I think where this place is getting big is that they're working alongside the NBA to say, okay, for example, everybody knows the John Wall 360 layup. I think he had against the Knicks, I believe.
The Clippers.
Right? Yeah, thank you. Against the Clippers, they take that off of YouTube.
Hey, y'all about to stop coming from my Knicks, man. Everything bad is on my Knicks. Y'all about to cool out. I ain't taking no more of that, bro.
$50, and you just kind of sit that $50 to the side. let's say you're smart and you hold that for 5 years, where this is really like the restrictions are big and crazy, that can potentially be a $300, $400 video. Mm-hmm. I mean, now you're sitting on $200 on your own and you didn't do nothing, and that it's teaching people the same way that do stocks and all the other stuff. So I think it's dope if it's flushed out completely and you have the players at mind and you have the players being able to benefit from it mostly. I think this is a dope idea. They're able to sell the memorabilia on there and things like that. Like, I think it's a really cool idea.
My biggest issue with the digital piece of it is that. All right, go ahead.
My bad. Just like Amir, just in stocks, I feel like they should have like transaction fees as well. Like a player should get a piece of each transaction. So say if I sell the card to Nate or the highlights to Nate, the player still should get some percentage from that. You know what I'm saying? But you got it, Nate. What you saying?
I think the biggest issue, and the NBA shouldn't get too greedy, because like you got to look at the way that people consume like information and data nowadays, right? Highlights are a big part of why people have even, like, the NBA has even grown. You know, you go on YouTube, you look up a little 4-minute highlight of how the game went, 9 minutes. Like, the NBA does that themselves, but like, these big media outlets and even the small media outlets, that's how the game has grown, because it's been so accessible. Like, people don't watch whole games nowadays unless you're a real hoop head. Like, it's rare that people are going to sit around and watch a whole game. But they want to go maybe watch the LaMelo. Their favorite player, they might just want to go watch like certain offensive highlights. People have very different ways of consuming sports and like media in general nowadays. Like, it's built into short clips. So if you start restricting like the best short clips that people want to see, the consumer is going to get slightly turned off by it. And I kind of see it a little hard for them to restrict all highlights, just because people are so good at like backdooring nowadays. Like, if it's not on YouTube, it'll be somewhere, unfortunately, But it is a good idea to sell memorabilia, but I just don't really see the value for the brand of the NBA to sell specific highlights, and then nobody else can see them. Like, because then 50 years down the line, like, my kid won't be able to go Harden step back because somebody owns it. Like, that doesn't make sense for the development of the brand of the NBA. But I do agree for the memorabilia physical pieces. That's a great idea. But for digital assets, I find it kind of counterproductive. Like, they're looking at the money right now, but they're not looking at the historical. Like, people want to go back and look at it, you feel me? Like, we didn't get a chance to see Micah play, but like, we seeing hella highlights, and like the NBA, they're not always from legitimate sources, but it's folklore. It's all a part of like people's legends. So, I think they shouldn't shoot themselves in the foot and over restrict it just yet, but maybe that is coming though.
Yeah. And one thing I want to hop on that you just said was, another thing too, let's say if they do go this route to where they strip their media and their highlights down from these media outlets and only, allow certain amounts of like the ESPNs, the Fox Sports, and like the Bleacher Reports and stuff like that. Even the National Sports Chat, I'm saying? Shameless plug, make sure you go there, follow us. You feel me? Doing it big over there. But if they'll have to totally be dependent. I feel like you said, it's just pigeonholing their audience. Like, they will totally have to depend on whoever they whichever media outlet they give the heads up or to play their highlights. And I feel like that's small-minded like business practices. But I could see, like I said, on the other side, man, it could be a lot going on. Like, I feel like it's a lot of good that could come from this. My thing is, if I would get in this game and start buying highlights, I would try to buy all the highlights of like a KD or a Zion or something like that. And I'm trying to sell it to a movie company. I need that documentary. I have everything you need right here. You know what I'm saying? I would be selling that for some cheese. But man, y'all got any more thoughts on this? I'm gonna make sure we keep updating the people out there about what's going on with NBA Top Shot, because it's new, and you know what I'm saying. Even we still learning about it, and it's raw. So I definitely, as new information keeps rolling out, I definitely want us to keep talking about this. Did y'all got anything else on this topic?
I think it's dope. I think it's cool, foundational idea, but to y'all's exact point, like, it has to be flushed out completely. We got to see it work on a larger scale. I would focus more so on memorabilia as opposed to the digital aspect. But I mean, somebody made this business for a reason, so hopefully they got it. But it looks like it was venture capital backed, so it seems like this company in Canada recently bought it, or they created it in house or something. But we gonna hear more about it. It's traction for real. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna we gonna see what happens, man. But other than that, I don't have anything else left, man. If y'all don't have nothing, we could go ahead and check out. Make sure you go over there, follow us at Micah and Friends Podcast on IG. Make sure you go over there, follow our personal IGs as well. Make sure you go over there, TOV Sports. Go follow him. This whole production is being brought to you by them. So make sure you go over there, tell TOV Sports we said what up. Follow the National Sports Chats page, like I already said. So go over there, follow us. And other than that, man, we're gonna be coming at y'all weekly, how we've been coming and hitting y'all in the head with this. But if no further ado, we're gonna go ahead and check it out. We got the B-roll ready to drop down. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And this is another episode of Micah and Friends, and we about to check it on up out of here. Yes, sir. Appreciate you all for tuning in, man. Checking out this podcast. Make sure you go over to YouTube, IG, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on everything. Go over there to Micah and Friends Podcast on IG and National Sports Chat on YouTube. We're going to keep this content coming at you, man. Appreciate y'all for checking in.
Here is something you can't understand. How I just keep killing, man. I'm from the South Rim, spinning like ceiling fans. Gambling with life, no complaining about the dealer hand. Back when niggas used to ride around the Dipset. Now these cops will shoot you on your live. That's a killer cam.
All right, Brody.